If you've ever wondered why some backyard chicken keepers enjoy healthy hens that lay beautiful eggs almost every day while others constantly struggle with dirty coops, sick birds, and disappointing egg production, the answer often isn't the breed of chicken at all. It's the coop. A well-designed and properly maintained chicken coop is much more than a shelter. It's the foundation of your flock's health, happiness, and productivity. Small improvements to the place your chickens call home can reduce stress, prevent disease, discourage predators, and even increase the number of eggs you collect each week. Whether you're building your very first coop or trying to improve an existing one, today's video will walk you through proven, practical tips that experienced chicken keepers rely on year after year. Some of these ideas cost almost nothing, yet they can make an enormous difference. Let's start with one of the biggest mistakes beginners make. Many people think a chicken coop simply needs 4 walls and a roof. Unfortunately, that mindset often creates problems before the chickens even move in. The first secret is choosing the right location. A coop placed in a low, damp area quickly becomes muddy after rain. Moisture builds up inside, creating ideal conditions for mold, bacteria, and parasites. Wet bedding also increases the risk of respiratory problems and foot infections. Instead, choose slightly elevated ground where rainwater naturally drains away. Dry soil helps keep the coop cleaner throughout the year and reduces unpleasant odors. Sunlight also matters. Morning sun is especially valuable because it helps dry overnight moisture and naturally warms the coop after cool nights. At the same time, providing afternoon shade is important in hot climates to prevent overheating during summer. If possible, position the coop where nearby trees or structures provide shade during the hottest part of the day while still allowing plenty of morning sunshine. Now let's talk about size. One of the most common reasons chickens become stressed is overcrowding. When too many birds share a small space, problems begin to appear quickly. Feather pecking becomes more common. Birds compete for food and water. Diseases spread more easily, and egg production often declines because stressed hens simply don't lay as consistently. A comfortable coop gives every chicken enough personal space. Inside the coop, each standard-sized chicken should generally have at least 3 to 4 square feet of floor space. If the birds spend long periods indoors because of weather or predators, even more room is beneficial. Outdoor runs are equally important. Whenever possible, provide at least 8 to 10 square feet per bird, and more is always better. Remember, chickens naturally enjoy scratching the ground, exploring, and searching for insects. Giving them enough room allows them to express these natural behaviors, reducing boredom and aggression. Speaking of natural behavior, let's discuss roosts. Many new keepers underestimate how important a proper roost is. Chickens instinctively sleep off the ground. In nature, this helps protect them from predators. Even domestic chickens retain this instinct. A good roost should be sturdy and comfortable. Instead of using perfectly round poles, choose wooden boards with slightly rounded edges. A width of about 2 inches allows chickens to rest with their feet comfortably underneath their feathers during cold weather, helping them conserve body heat. Install roosts higher than the nesting boxes. If the nesting boxes are higher, chickens may choose to sleep inside them, leading to dirty eggs covered with droppings every morning. Leave enough space between each roost so birds can comfortably spread their wings without crowding one another. Another important feature is nesting boxes. Interestingly, chickens don't need one nesting box each. Most hens are perfectly happy sharing. A good rule is 1 nesting box for every 3 to 4 hens. Place nesting boxes in the quietest, darkest part of the coop. Hens naturally seek private, secure places when laying eggs. Bright lights or constant disturbances may encourage them to lay elsewhere, making egg collection far more difficult. Adding clean straw, pine shavings, or other soft bedding keeps eggs cleaner and reduces the chance of cracks. Check nesting material regularly. Fresh bedding not only protects eggs but also discourages mites and other pests that thrive in damp, dirty conditions. Now let's move on to one of the most overlooked parts of any chicken coop: ventilation. Many people worry so much about keeping chickens warm that they accidentally seal the coop too tightly. Surprisingly, cold air alone rarely harms healthy chickens. Poor ventilation, however, certainly can. As chickens breathe, they release moisture into the air. Their droppings also produce ammonia gas. Without proper airflow, humidity rises, condensation forms, and harmful gases accumulate. This combination creates ideal conditions for respiratory diseases, frostbite in winter, and unpleasant odors all year long. The solution isn't making the coop drafty. Instead, create ventilation openings near the roof where warm, moist air naturally rises and escapes. Fresh air enters gradually without blowing directly onto roosting birds. You'll immediately notice the difference when entering a well-ventilated coop. The air smells fresh instead of heavy with ammonia. Your chickens will notice the difference too, even if they can't tell you. Good air quality supports healthier lungs, cleaner feathers, and stronger immune systems. And while we're discussing cleanliness, there's another simple habit that experienced chicken keepers rarely skip: regular cleaning. You don't necessarily need to scrub the entire coop every week, but removing wet bedding, refreshing nesting boxes, and cleaning droppings beneath roosts on a regular schedule prevents many problems before they begin. A clean coop doesn't just look better. It helps break the life cycle of flies, mites, lice, harmful bacteria, and parasites while creating a healthier environment where chickens can thrive. Now that your coop has the right location, enough space, proper ventilation, and comfortable nesting areas, it's time to focus on another challenge every chicken keeper eventually faces: protecting the flock. Many people think predators only come out at night, while foxes, raccoons, and owls certainly become more active after dark. Daytime predators can be just as dangerous. Hawks, stray dogs, coyotes in some regions, snakes, and even determined neighborhood pets can quickly turn a peaceful backyard into a disaster. The good news is that most predator attacks are preventable. Start by checking every possible entry point into the coop. Chickens are surprisingly vulnerable, and predators are surprisingly persistent. If there's a weak corner, a loose board, or a small gap beneath a wall, sooner or later something will find it. Instead of ordinary chicken wire, use strong hardware cloth with small openings. Chicken wire is designed to keep chickens in, not predators out. Many predators can tear through it or squeeze between the openings. Pay special attention to windows, vents, and doors. Every opening should close securely each evening. Heavy-duty latches are worth the investment because clever animals like raccoons can manipulate simple locks with remarkable skill. Don't forget the ground. Many predators dig. Burying hardware cloth around the perimeter of the coop or extending it outward underground creates a barrier that discourages digging animals from tunneling inside. If you let your chickens free range during the day, try to provide shrubs, small trees, or simple shelters where they can hide if a hawk appears overhead. Chickens naturally look for cover when they sense danger, and giving them safe places to escape greatly reduces stress. Now let's talk about bedding. Choosing the right bedding isn't just about comfort. It affects cleanliness, odor control, and even your daily workload. Pine shavings remain one of the most popular choices because they absorb moisture well, reduce odors, and are easy to replace. Straw is another common option. It provides excellent insulation during colder months but should always remain dry. Wet straw quickly becomes compacted and can encourage mold growth. Some experienced keepers also use chopped hemp, shredded leaves, or other natural materials depending on what's available locally. Whichever bedding you choose, the most important rule is simple: keep it dry. Moist bedding creates the perfect environment for bacteria, parasites, and unpleasant smells. If you notice damp spots near water containers, replace that section immediately instead of waiting until your next scheduled cleaning. Speaking of water, let's discuss something that affects chicken health every single day. Fresh, clean drinking water. It sounds obvious, but dirty water is one of the fastest ways diseases spread through a flock. Water containers should be cleaned regularly because algae, dirt, feathers, and droppings can accumulate surprisingly fast. During hot weather, check water several times each day. Chickens drink much more than many people realize, especially laying hens. In freezing temperatures, preventing water from turning into ice becomes equally important. Heated waterers or frequent refilling help ensure birds always have access to fresh drinking water. Remember, even short periods without water can reduce egg production and place unnecessary stress on the flock. Feeders deserve attention too. Scattering excessive feed on the ground may seem harmless, but leftover grain attracts unwanted visitors. Mice and rats quickly discover easy food sources. Not only do rodents consume expensive feed, but they can also contaminate it with droppings and spread diseases. Using hanging feeders or raised feeding stations helps keep feed cleaner while reducing waste. Offer only the amount your chickens will eat in a reasonable amount of time, especially if wild birds frequently visit your yard. Store extra feed in tightly sealed metal containers whenever possible. Plastic bins can sometimes be chewed through by determined rodents. Now let's look at something chickens appreciate even more than expensive toys. Entertainment. Yes, chickens can become bored. A bored flock is far more likely to develop bad habits like feather pecking or bullying weaker birds. Fortunately, keeping chickens entertained doesn't require spending much money. Hang a cabbage or lettuce from a string so birds have to peck at it throughout the day. Scatter small amounts of scratch grain into dry leaves or straw, encouraging natural foraging behavior. Add sturdy logs, low platforms, or tree stumps where chickens can jump, perch, and explore. Even simple changes to the run every few weeks help stimulate curiosity and reduce boredom. Dust bathing is another activity chickens absolutely love. If they don't have access to loose, dry soil, create a dust bath using sand mixed with fine dirt and a small amount of wood ash from untreated firewood. Dust bathing helps chickens naturally control mites, lice, and excess oil in their feathers. Watching a flock happily rolling in the dust may look amusing, but it's actually an important part of their hygiene routine. Next, let's consider seasonal changes. Your coop should adapt throughout the year. In summer, preventing overheating becomes the priority. Open vents fully, provide constant shade, and make sure water remains cool and plentiful. Frozen treats like watermelon pieces or chilled vegetables can help birds stay comfortable during extreme heat. During winter, avoid sealing the coop completely. Fresh air remains essential even in cold weather. Healthy chickens tolerate cold temperatures much better than damp, stale air. Extra bedding provides insulation, while removing snow from entrances encourages birds to continue moving around during daylight hours. The goal isn't to make the coop warm like a house. The goal is to keep it dry, clean, and free from drafts while maintaining good ventilation. As your flock grows, you'll also discover that chickens have their own social structure. Understanding that hierarchy can help you avoid unnecessary conflicts. One of the most fascinating things about raising chickens is realizing that every flock has its own social order. At first, it may seem like random behavior, but experienced keepers know there's usually a reason behind it. This natural hierarchy is called the pecking order. Every chicken eventually finds its place within the flock. Some birds naturally become leaders, while others prefer to stay out of conflict. A little chasing or pecking is completely normal, especially when introducing new birds. However, constant bullying is not. If one hen is repeatedly attacked, prevented from eating, or spends most of the day hiding, it's time to make changes. Adding extra feeders and water stations often reduces competition. Providing more space also allows weaker birds to avoid aggressive flock members. Whenever you bring home new chickens, avoid placing them directly into your established flock. Instead, keep them in a separate enclosure nearby for at least a week whenever possible. During this time, the birds become familiar with one another through sight and sound without physical contact. This simple step usually makes introductions much smoother. Another habit shared by experienced chicken keepers is daily observation. You don't need expensive equipment or veterinary training. Simply watching your flock for a few minutes each day allows you to notice changes before they become serious problems. Healthy chickens are active, curious, alert, and eager to eat. They scratch the ground, interact with one another, and move confidently around the coop and run. A chicken that suddenly isolates itself, keeps its feathers puffed up, limps, breathes heavily, or refuses food deserves immediate attention. The sooner you notice a problem, the easier it usually is to manage. It's also worth paying attention to egg production. Every flock naturally experiences seasonal changes, but sudden drops in egg numbers often indicate stress or poor living conditions. Ask yourself a few simple questions. Has the weather changed dramatically? Are the nesting boxes clean? Is fresh water always available? Have predators been visiting the area? Are the hens receiving enough high-quality feed? Sometimes solving one small issue is enough to restore normal laying within a few days. Lighting also plays an important role. Hens naturally lay more eggs when daylight lasts longer. During winter, egg production commonly decreases because daylight hours become shorter. Some keepers use artificial lighting to extend the day, while others allow their hens to follow a completely natural seasonal rhythm. Neither approach is necessarily right or wrong. The important thing is to avoid sudden, drastic changes that may stress the birds. Now let's discuss cleanliness in greater detail. Cleaning a chicken coop doesn't have to be difficult if it's done consistently. Instead of waiting until the coop becomes dirty, develop a simple routine. Remove droppings beneath the roosts several times each week. Refresh nesting material whenever it becomes damp or soiled. Wash feeders and water containers regularly. Replace wet bedding immediately. Every few months, perform a deeper cleaning by removing old bedding, brushing away dust and cobwebs, and disinfecting surfaces with products that are safe for poultry. A clean coop smells better, attracts fewer flies, reduces disease pressure, and creates a healthier environment for everyone. Another valuable habit is keeping a simple notebook. Record when hens begin laying, how many eggs you collect, when bedding is replaced, and any unusual behavior you observe. Over time, these notes become incredibly useful. You'll begin to recognize seasonal patterns and quickly notice when something changes. Many experienced poultry keepers rely on written records rather than memory alone. Now let's talk about enrichment. Happy chickens are busy chickens. A flock that spends the entire day exploring, scratching, jumping, and foraging is usually healthier than one with nothing to do. Rotate logs, branches, or perches every few weeks. Hang vegetables from a string. Scatter a handful of grain into piles of dry leaves. Create different heights where birds can perch and observe their surroundings. These simple activities encourage natural behavior and reduce boredom without costing much money. If possible, allow your chickens access to fresh grass whenever it's practical. Rotating grazing areas helps protect the ground from becoming bare while giving birds new places to explore. Fresh vegetation, insects, and natural sunlight all contribute to healthier, happier chickens. One mistake many beginners make is constantly changing feed brands or introducing large amounts of treats. Treats should remain exactly that, treats. The majority of a laying hen's diet should come from a balanced poultry feed formulated for her age and purpose. Too many kitchen scraps or sugary treats can reduce nutritional balance and eventually affect egg production. Fresh vegetables in moderation are wonderful, but consistency remains one of the biggest secrets to maintaining a healthy flock. Finally, Remember that chickens thrive on routine. They like predictable schedules. Opening the coop at roughly the same time each morning, feeding consistently, collecting eggs regularly, and locking the coop every evening all help reduce stress. The calmer your flock feels, the healthier and more productive it usually becomes. Raising chickens isn't about creating the most expensive coop or buying every gadget on the market. It's about understanding the simple needs of the birds. Give them clean water, nutritious food, fresh air, enough space, protection from predators, comfortable nesting areas, and a clean environment. In return, they'll reward you with fresh eggs, fascinating personalities, natural pest control, and the satisfaction that comes from caring for happy, healthy animals. Small improvements made today can benefit your flock for years to come. So take a fresh look at your chicken coop this week. Walk through it as if you were one of your hens. Is it dry? Is it safe? Is there enough space? Could the ventilation be improved? Are the nesting boxes inviting? Even one or two simple changes can make a remarkable difference. Thank you so much for watching. If you found these chicken coop tips helpful, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more practical gardening and homesteading advice. We'd also love to hear from you in the comments. What is the single best improvement you've ever made to your chicken coop? Your experience might inspire someone else's success. Until next time, take care of your flock, enjoy every fresh egg, and happy chicken keeping.